Hello there everyone, and welcome to an introductory video outlining some of the neat things we can do with Google Classroom and getting it set up to you so that you can go ahead and get started with creating your classrooms. What we're going to cover in this video is just a quick introduction on how to create a class, some of the ways that we can work within the class, and then finally wrap up with, I think, a really neat way that we can use functionality of Google Classroom to have information we want students to have readily accessible, available, and easy to find. When you connect into Classroom for the first time, it's going to be through a website, classroom.google.com. And when you connect, you're going to see this blank window. We're going to see the blank slate in the background here because we haven't yet created a class. I'm going to close this window just to check into another account that we're going to work with to see how it will look a majority of the time for you. This is an account we have put together that has one class, and we're going to create a second one. To create a class, on the top right-hand corner, just to the left of your name, you'll see a little plus symbol. Clicking on this allows us to either create or join a class. If you don't see the option to create a class, please let us know. We'll go ahead and make sure that you have the ability to do so. We're going to create this class again by simply clicking Create Class, and a dialog box is going to come up giving us the option to go ahead and to create a class. We can pick a class name as well as a section. The class name is required. The section you can use to help break up a class. Now, this might be, why would I want to break up a class? You can create a class however you would like. And at some lower grade levels, this might be the class that you create is just for your classroom, and you'll only have one class. As you move up in grade levels, you might have a class that's called 7th grade science. And we might have multiple sections. These sections could be period 1, period 3, period 8. Sections just help us create a class and help it be easier for us to find. We're going to call this period 1. And we're ready to create the class. We can click on Create. I do want to mention that when you create classes, you may wonder, will creating 3 periods mean to post an assignment I have to go to 3 different classes to put those in place? And Google has made it really nice and really easy when working with announcements and assignments to select a checkbox to pick which class you want to post them to. That means if we were to post homework that we wanted all periods to have, period 1, period 4, and period 8, we can create that assignment or announcement, select the checkbox to post it to period 1, period 4, period 8, and that one post goes to all 3 classes automatically. When we're ready to create our class, click on Create, and you're going to be taken directly into your class. Now, one of the first things I do when I get into a class is I change the class theme. Google gives us a couple of choices that we can use to update our class theme. The question here might be, why would I want to change the class theme? What I like about changing the class theme is as I start working with more and more classes, I have a color that's assigned to that class, making it very easy to visually identify this class and know which one I'm working in. You'll see when you connect, and after we've changed this theme, the stream. The stream is going to be where you post announcements and assignments to your class. As you add more content, you'll see that the stream will get longer and longer and longer. You do have the ability, after you post some information, to go ahead and edit or delete it. To delete or edit an item, to the right you will see 3 dots stacked upon each other. We can click them, select Edit, maybe I had a typo when posting this, or delete it. Deleting announcements just helps make the stream be a little clearer. It helps get rid of unused or information that isn't relevant anymore. You can always keep the information as long as you would like. There's no limitation on how long you can keep it, but I just think it's a neat way that we can help tidy up the class so old information maybe from the first week of school that we don't need anymore doesn't show up and kind of clog up this interface. The next area is students, and this is where as a teacher I can see the list of students enrolled in my class. So a question we have here is, how do we enroll students in a class? And there's 2 ways. One is to click the Invite button and search for their names. If I wanted to add these students, I can click a couple of checkboxes, click Invite Students, and these students are now enrolled in my class. Now the downside to this is it's a very manual process. It does require going ahead and adding these students by hand. Another option is using a class code. When students connect into Drive and then they go into Classroom, again that same address, classroom.google.com in the web browser, they can enter and join a class simply by entering in this class code. For me as a teacher, this makes it very easy because all I need to do is share this information with the students and they can go ahead and add themselves in. As students enroll in the class, you'll see them appear in this list. And for some reason, if a student were to share their class code with a friend who isn't in this class, you can always select a student, click Remove, make sure that we want to remove or uninvite them from the class, and that student is no longer enrolled in the class. Let's say my class is done here, all 2 students have enrolled. I can disable the class code, and that means no new students can join utilizing that class code. I would have to add them in manually. Again, this is just a quick way to really see how we can add students into the class and work with it. The last spot I want to hit is under the About tab. This is where we'll have the ability to title our class. Again, we're going to call this 7th grade Science. And if you wanted to add an optional description about the class, you can do so. If there's a classroom you meet in, you can post that there as well. Again, just to have some information ready for students that may not know or tend to be forgetful. Another neat aspect about Google Classroom is how it helps us with organization. You'll see there's a Google Drive folder link that I can click on. I'm going to take a look into Drive to see how this gets created. As soon as I go into class, when I create a class in Classroom, Google Drive automatically creates a folder called Classroom. Within each Classroom folder, we'll see a folder for each class, and as you'll see, this is matched 7th grade Science Period 1 to 7th grade Science Period 1. Since it is the beginning of the class, I don't have any assignments put in yet. When we go into the specific class folder, we won't see anything. As I assign assignments to this class, from the teacher, I'm going to see a folder for each assignment, and within each assignment folder, I'll see all the students' assignments. From the student perspective, I'm going to see this exact same layout. I'll see a folder for Classroom. I'll see a folder for 7th grade Science Period 1. The only difference here is as a student, I'm going to see, first off, only my work, and second off, I'm going to see all the assignments I've put together for this class. That just gives a nice, easy way that Google Classroom helps organize the information so we don't have it scattered throughout our drive. The last area that I want to talk about is under the About section, adding materials. And I really like the materials section as a way that we can post pertinent information that we'll want the students to access all quarter long, all class long, all semester long. When we post into the stream, we're going to have announcements and assignments that will slowly move content lower on the page. The materials page is just going to have a list of all the materials that I feel are important as a teacher for this class. This can be, for example, a document the class puts together on classroom rules. What we're going to look at here is class notes. And one thing that you're probably thinking about class notes is, will they change? How do we work with posting information that's going to constantly be changing with the class? We're going to jump back into my teacher drive, and I've created a folder called Class Notes. Inside of it, I've put together one sample, August 18th class notes, and obviously as we work with this, we're going to get August 19th class notes, August 20th, 21st, and we're going to have a long list of information. Now, if you remember, we have the ability to work with shared folders, and we're going to use that ability of working with shared folders to post classroom notes so we don't have to create and constantly update them as the teacher, and they're going to be easy to access and find as a student. We're going to share this folder, and as you remember, when we share content, it's going to be private, only me and those individuals I grant access to. We're going to change the permission on this. to be people at Glencoe District 35 with the link can view. I'm going to save these options. I'm going to copy the link for this folder. I'm going to go back into my class, and I'm going to use the ability for class notes to attach a link. We're going to paste in the link we just grabbed, which is again a link to the shared folder that everybody with the link can view. Click on Add and Post. Now what we've done here is we've created a folder called Class Notes that as we add information to it, individuals will be able to view. Within our classroom, we've posted material of our class notes that's going to be a link to that shared folder. The great part about this is, as a teacher, as I add those shared notes into this folder, students can click on it and they'll get a list of all the class notes from the class. The great part is I don't need to worry about sharing those individual files because I've worked with it on the shared folder level. Another nice part about this is I don't have to worry of the content getting lost in our class stream. It's going to be in the About section, always there, always accessible. If you want to add additional content, you can go ahead and do that by adding a file from your computer, a file from Drive, or a link. We hope this is helpful to kind of give you a quick view on what you can do with Google Classroom and getting it set up initially. We're going to have some additional videos put together on working within the stream and sharing other ways we can use Google Classroom for grading and providing student feedback. We hope you found this helpful, and thank you for tuning in.